I just went through an entire speech. Was I not live? No, I'm live now. All right, let's try this again. Greetings to everyone on this fine election day. I am Dennis Anderson, the voice of Corumpere 5 News Network. So wait, are we C5NN, CFNN? Oh, we're CVNN. Huh, I wouldn't have guessed. Anyway, the polls from every continent and subcontinent are open, and the heated competition between Governor Gregg and Alternate Musalis will be resolved one way or another today. One of the big surprises we have seen so far is the impressive showing by third-party candidate Nota T. Ranid, who has had an impressive showing amongst Underhivers. Their radical platform seems to be getting traction, and they insist that the emperor should be depicted with more arms. This has gotten them into some trouble with the local ecclesiarchs. So far, things have largely been peaceful, with outbursts of violence only being slightly higher than a typical day in Corumpere 5. Today, I will keep you up to date on the exit poll numbers, and I will talk with you, the voters in the streets, to hear your opinions and find out about the issues that matter most to you. If you are interested in being put on the air, we do request a small donation in order to keep the free press free on this planet. Now, we'll get to these questions on the street in just a moment, but first, let's take a look at where the polls stand. One moment, I have checked somewhat recently, but it's always good to have the most up-to-date information. Always evidence that the thriving democracy on this planet is going well. Out of the 100 billion or so citizens of Corumpere 5, 255 votes have been cast. That is one of the highest voter turnouts in Imperium history. Now, let us go and take a look at the details. Governor Gregg currently holds a commanding lead, but this is only a reminder, this is only preliminary. Many of the different votes have not been tallied yet from all different corners of Corumpere 5. Coming in second is Nota Tyranid of the Many Arms Party, third party, having an impressive 24% of the vote. Alternate Musalis is third with 5% of the vote, and there have been a few notable write-in candidacies, notably local Commissar Frederick, who has garnered 3 votes so far, as well as an individual known only as Snotius, who's apparently also gained 3 votes as well. I will keep you up to date on how things are going at the moment. Now, we have quite a crowd assembling out here near the different voting apparati, and they all have been shouting and cheering for their favored candidate. Right now, there's quite a number of Gregg supporters that have begun shouting, and it almost feels a bit of a celebration going on. It seems there's a few people out here might be a little bit more green than I would have guessed. But I suppose Election Day brings out all sorts. Now, this election cycle has not been without its fair share of controversies. A last-moment scandal, if you will. There have been rumors plaguing Governor Gregg since the start of his governorcy relating to accusations that he is responsible for the pickle shortages in Corumpere 5. Governor Gregg, of course, well known for his love of pickles and is frequently seen consuming an exotic variety of pickles. Now, some have said that Gregg's interest in pickles has turned Corumpere 5 into the leading pickle producer in the subsector, and that many transports and traders are flocking to Corumpere 5 to be able to taste and sell the wide variety of pickles that are produced here. However, there have been shortages, and many attribute this to to Governor Gregg's propensity to to consume pickles, and there have been those who have accused him of hoarding them for governor use. Now we cannot. There's no evidence to suggest there has been any wrongdoing on the part of Governor Gregg. However, governorial budgets do allow a fair amount of luxury that is afforded to those who hold the title. And Governor Gregg is very fond and not secretive about his fondness for pickles. So there may be some credence to the accusation, though likely to be somewhat exaggerated. Another scandal that has come up is, of course, surrounding Ordinate Musalis, mostly regarding his committee to unelect Gregg, and his refusal to disclose any and all documents of who this organization is, what their members are, where the money comes from, what the money is spent on. The only thing we do know is that they have begun releasing a number of political advertisements, including advertisements that have been aired on CVNN. And we just want to make it clear that we do require support, so we cannot be choosers while we are being beggars, of course. But I think we are going to have a look and see what people are saying on the streets. And again, if you would like to, I'm going to see if I can listen to what some of the crowd says. And as usual, if you wish to be put on the air, a small donation would be very much appreciated, and you'll be able to speak your mind to all of Corumpere 5. And for those of you who have not yet voted, I will be sharing the location where you can reach your polling place if you wish to have not yet cast a vote. That'll be sent right now in the Vox feed. Well, let's have it. We have. I can see that there is at least one Ogren supporter of Gregg. Gregg, of course, has done very well amongst Ogrens. He seems to be very effective in communicating, and they have very much taken his mantra of "I am going to do my best," his slogan for his campaign, and have applied it to much of the work that Ogrens have been assigned in Corumpere 5. Now, of course, Ogrens are not known to be, have frequently been utilized by different political entities as a voting bloc that they can sort of pander to and acquire a great number of votes if they say things that Ogrens like to hear. Frequently, Ogren votes are split because it tends to be that both candidates or all candidates tend to say very nice, positive, simple messaging, praising the emperor, encouraging people to do good jobs, and generally appealing to eating, sleeping, and working hard and fighting for the emperor. This, of course, has been a little bit different because Gregg is, in fact, an Ogren, and this has definitely boosted his appeal amongst the Ogren population, as they seem to take some delight in seeing one of their own ruling over everyone and being smart enough, just like one of the little ones. All right, we have a very concerned citizen here. He's spoken to me briefly. I have his name, Miles O'Halloran. Why don't you share your thoughts on the election season? Yeah, the orcs are here, and they're threatening to crump the planet if their favorite party isn't the boss, a.k.a. Gregg. Miles O'Halloran, thank you very much for your thoughts, and I will note his somewhat suspicious green appearance, but he did not sound like any sort of green skin, though his voice modulation unit might have had something to do with that. But honestly, nothing suspicious to me. Thank you very much, Miles O'Halloran, for sharing your thoughts on the issue. We still have quite a few supporters of Greg. And now we have had different Xenos factions that have been rumored to support different political candidates. Of course, there are rumors that Nota Tyranid has gene stealer support. And now rest assured that we have been instituting mandatory genome scans if you are going to cast your vote. Unfortunately, it has been very difficult to implement this across the planet, and of course, the only places that could quickly and effectively implement these things are in upper parts of the Hive towers, where there is not much of a gene stealer infestation. However, we're looking to improve that for next election cycle. Let's have a look, see what other people are saying. We still see mostly voting for Greg. It appears we have Timmy the tech priest, has been, says, go vote for me. He apparently seems to be attempting his own write-in campaign. So that's, of course, very interesting to see that way that democracy can work, that it's true, anyone can begin a serious write-in candidacy, and if they get enough support, and seeing as only about 250 people have voted so far, it is likely that only a few votes can sway this election rather quickly. Now, why don't we go and take a look at how the poll stands at the moment? Previously, we had 255 votes, and let's go see what the update is. We now have 261 votes. Governor Greg is still at 67%. Ordinate Musalis, though, has gained ground, moving up to 6% in the vote, as some of the wealthier noble houses are starting to turn in their votes from themselves and, of course, their households, their servants, all of the menials and serfs that do work for them. Those are all starting to come in right now. Nota Tyranid still is at 23%. Write-ins, in general, are holding about 4%. We're going to go take a look and see if there's any other notable write-in candidates. Still only seems to be one vote for the Emperor's cousin Gary. That seems to be a new candidate that has risen in the write-in category. So we'll keep you up to date on that, and we'll make sure that you have the very best information available for everyone. Now there seems to be a bit of an argument between supporters of Timmy. Again, we're seeing mostly support for Greg in the crowd just outside here, and of course this is not a representative sample of Corumpere 5. This has been an area where many candidates, their supporters, will come here and try to gain some visibility, which does make for some interesting moves by some of the lesser-known candidates to maybe jockey for position, maybe angle for parliament positions or cabinet positions as well. And right now it seems to be that Timmy the Tech Priest and supporters for Gary, the Emperor's cousin, or someone who is reputed to be the Emperor's cousin, they are having a bit of an argument. Timmy is promising triple pickle rations. He is threatening people, vote for me or die, which of course has been pretty standard political argumentation here. Now there's accusations of gerrymandering occurring with the redistricting effort that has been put forth by, of course, Ordinate Musalis. All right, it looks like we have a veteran here coming in. I do a thank you for your donation. Steel Legion Kane, you, of course, are welcome to speak your mind.
Steel Legion's 88th Regiment. Need to get back to Armageddon. Help.
And that has been a point of discussion, as warp storms have made it very difficult to travel to and from Armageddon. There have been a number of Steel Legionnaires who have been stuck here. Many of them have applied for citizenship to be able to cast votes in this particular election. Of course, generally speaking, guardsmen are granted the rights of citizens while on any planet that is part of the Imperium. The legal consequences of this are a fascinating discussion, but it generally is handled a little differently from local planetary system to local planetary system. There has been a bit of a fight about whether or not these legionnaires who have some want to treat them as refugees who have not yet been given citizenship, as they have been separated. Others want them to be treated as citizens as per usual. That seems to be a Governor Greg supporting the Steel Legion. However, it is important to mention that the Steel Legion does seem to favor Governor Greg. They haven't come out and stated officially that they support his candidacy, but from our return polls, it does seem that they do favor him from at least a 4-to-1 ratio, if not greater. All right, we have Miles O'Halloran. Thank you again for the donation. If you would like to speak your mind again, I know you are very concerned about orcs. Do you have new information that you'd like to share with the public? Yeah, I do believe that there's orcs hidden in this crowd. Well, I do appreciate your concern, Miles. The Arbites are sweeping the crowd. They're making sure that things are orderly and relatively peaceful. And they will be doing so at the different polling stations, making sure that the elections are proceeding safely, that there is at least no major instances of voter fraud that should sway the election. We'll take a look and see what else we've got. What any other comments? We now have a bit of a brawl. We've got chanting for Greg. There seems to be fighting amongst Timmy supporters. My word. All right, we're going to see. Looks like the Arbites are moving in here. A circle has formed, and there is a fight between. I'm getting word that it's Fergus Abrams and Silvertrim Hill. There is a full-on fight. It is not clear to me who is fighting for whom, but it is certainly typical of Corumpere 5. Whenever our citizenry is excited, they express their enthusiasm through naked violence. There we are. Here we are. It's up. There is an orc war cry. All right. We do seem to have the Arbites moving in, and we're going to let them take care of it. They have asked me not to record them as they perform their duties because it could get rather gruesome. So the Arbites are moving in, and why don't we go and see how the polls are going so far? We've been live now for nearly 20 minutes, and we have seen an uptick in voting, and we're going to go ahead and if you still haven't yet to vote and you are a listener, we are going to go ahead and post the link in the Vox feed for you to be able to find your polling station. That should be up there right now, so you should be able to vote. We do have, of course, Governor Greg, the incumbent. We have his challenger, Ordinate Musalis. We have Nota Tir Ranid, a surprise candidate who's been doing surprisingly well. Had not heard much of them, did not participate in any of the debates, but they seem to have quite a base of support among the underhivers. And then there's also write-in candidates that can be entered by hand below. If you see a name that is mentioned below, you can also tally a vote there as well. All right, let's go and have a look and see where the... Oh, it looks like we have a supporter for Nota Tyranid. Interesting. Right now, so far we've had just about all parties represented in this rather enthusiastic crowd, but I think we ought to cut away and take a look at how the polls sit now. Well, Greg still holds a commanding lead at 67%. Ordnance Musalis has fallen down to 5% of the vote. Nota Tyranid of the Many Arms Party holding steady at 23%. Write-in candidates now hold 5% of the vote, with 264 votes counting. And let's see how the write-ins are going. We now have 2 votes for the Emperor's cousin Gary. Let's have a look. Commissar Frederick holding steady at 3 votes. And Snartius has leapt into the lead of the write-in candidates with 5 votes. We will keep an eye on the different names as they gain prominence. Now, I know there have been people who have criticized our coverage of the election, trying to characterize it as a rat race, reporting on every little change, every little bit of every change in the number of votes, the number of vote tallies, and some people have said you're covering this as if it's more exciting than it is, because it's very clear that Greg has a commanding lead and is likely to hold it, and that is not entirely true. We here at CVNN, the Corumpere 5 News Network, make sure that we are reporting on the things that you care about most. And some people may say that we follow the most sensational, the most headline-grabbing news items. And, well, those are the things that you want to hear. You want to hear the dramatic, the exciting, the back and forth. Let's take a look. Have things calmed down? We have some accusations. It appears Timmy the Tech Priest has set up himself a bit of a soapbox and is now preaching that Nota Tyranid, the Underhive candidate, is in fact a Gene Stealer affiliated or Gene Stealer supporter. These are some shocking claims. We'll see if this helps boost Timmy's write-in campaign, or if this may have an impact on Nota Tyranid, if this last-moment accusation could sway some voters that are not yet settled on whether they believe that there should be more pickles, or whether the Emperor should have more arms, or whether there should be bread and circuses to keep, quote, the poors happy. Now let's take a look. Well, there still seems to be a scuffle, but most of the worst of it seems to have been taken care of by the Arbites. A number of arrests have been made. A reminder that if you are arrested, it may be a bit more difficult for you to vote, so make sure that you have already cast your vote before participating in any political brawls that might explode across the planet. Oh, interesting. We have another soapbox that is set up, and there's an accusation that Musalis... Oh, it's this conspiracy theory again. Someone is claiming that Musalis is none other than former Governor Sumalis, who was ousted in the Civil War. That, of course, is ridiculous. Sumalis did not have an immense mustache, and, of course, Musalis does. So the comparison is absolutely ridiculous, and we here at CVNN will squash any sort of wild conspiracy theories that might arise during this election season, making sure you have the very best and most exciting information that is available. Now, it seems that I must say that Timmy the Tech Priest is having a bit of a scuffle with some of the others, and he's also now seemingly doubled down on his accusations regarding other candidates, claiming that Musalis is just a smart snot. That, for those of you who are not aware, that would be a greenskin. Again, an unfounded accusation, as Musalis does not, in fact, have any green skin. We do have some Astartes, some Adeptus Astartes, amongst the crowd. They seem to be assisting us keeping order. Appreciate that the Angels of Death of the Emperor are here delivering death and vengeance to ensure that we have a relatively free election and that there is only minimal bloodletting. It is unclear. We still have some support for Timmy being said. Let's say support for a noble coming forth and supporting Ordinate Musalis. Yes, and Edward Rylands, one of the Rylands, of course, the noble Rylands of Corumpere 5, well known, can say with some authority, having been in the service of former Governor Sumalis, has now testified that there is no way that Musalis and Sumalis are one and the same, and I think that should put that conspiracy to rest. Now, there are those who will say that democracy just descends into shouting, to angry, vitriolic. There's no place in the galaxy for peaceful discussion, for debate, trying to keep things orderly. It will always just evolve into violence. And I would say that this brawl merely shows the enthusiasm with which our citizens take to their first stab at democracy here on Corumpere 5. Looks like we have one of our very own Steel Legionnaires coming forward. We have Steel Legion Kane coming forth. I understand that you have officially come to endorse someone.
Yes. Vote Steel Legion Kane.
Another candidate last second trying to get a write-in campaign. We'll see if that has any sort of benefit. All right. We have another. We have Old Man Skeletal coming in here, has his own opinion. Very well. Old Man Skeletal, old friend of the show. What do you have to say? Do you think they're going to do something about that skeleton on a jet bike? They keep riding around my hab block playing heavy metal. Also, his head's on fire. It's very scary. That's really what I'm voting for here. I want someone to do something about that scary skeleton, that scary, spooky skeleton, riding around my hab block. Heavy metal, fire, needs to be dealt with. Thank you very much, Old Man Skeletal. It has been reported that there are indeed some serious concerns about sightings of mysterious skeletal beings wreathed in flame, riding jet bikes to very discordant and loud music. So thank you for sharing your thoughts and concerns, Old Man Skeletal. So we seem to have the scrapping seems to be continuing. Some orcs bellowing. Hopefully that will be taken care of. I have no fear that this will get too out of hand, as we do have members of the Steel Legion present. We have, of course, Adeptus Astartes, who have been about making sure that this gathering is not getting too out of hand. We have members of the Mechanicus present, of course, with Timmy the Tech Priest. So we are confident that order will be maintained and we will be able to continue with this election without having to cut it short or declare martial law, as is a little bit more common. So why don't we take a look at how the numbers stand. Previously, we had 264 votes. Let's see how the numbers have changed. We are now standing at 268 votes. Governor Greg holding steady at 67%. Audit Musalis climbs back into it, regaining sole control of third place with 6%. Nota Tyrannid has fallen from 23% down to 22%, and the write-in candidates are still holding at 5% of the total vote. Any other changes in... no changes in the vote total for those, though Steel Legion Kane has put in his vote for himself, encouraging people to vote Steel Legion. So 1 vote by Steel Legion Kane for himself to be governor. Apologies, just having something to drink. Keeping my my vocalizer in proper order, working condition. Now there do seem to be still be Greg supporters, but now it seems to be that some of the lesser known candidates are squabbling amongst themselves. There are those who are debating Musalis's true identity, still spreading that conspiracy theory. There are those who are fighting. Some of the lesser candidates who have write-in campaigns are fighting with one another. It appears that there are those who seem to be orcs who support Greg. Now, it is important that that orcs do get strange ideas into their heads, and we want to make it clear that Governor Greg has not requested orcish support, has not endorsed such a thing, and this seems to be orcs acting on their own recognizance. And we will make sure that they are removed from the voting system. Orcs, of course, are not permitted, as they are not neither imperial citizens, nor humans, nor allowed to be alive. All right, we have Miles O'Halloran, a concerned citizen, coming back on the air. We appreciate your numerous donations to the cause. Go ahead. Yeah, I just want to say Fergus Abrams is committing voter fraud by using his own servitors. I hope something happens to him. Very serious accusation that I'm sure the Arbites will take very seriously. Hopefully, we are not dealing with any sort of major voter fraud that could cause some problems. We now have the famous Edward Rylands of the esteemed Ryland family. Edward Rylands, House Ryland, what do you have to say? Yes. If there is a martial law enacted, will the military support the correct candidate? It's a very good question. Military coups, of course, are a risk anytime there is democracy. It could be a big important factor, especially for someone who might have a write-in campaign such as Steel Legion Kane. If the military were to take over, they could swing for him. They could perhaps rely on Governor Greg because he does have some experience working with the Guard. It could be that they support Ordinate Musalis, who is a bit more conservative, has a lot more experience, might be a, quote, safer choice. It is unclear how the members of the Astra Militarum are going to vote Though from initial reports, it does seem to be that they support Governor Gregg. We have a call to kill all Xenos. That's certainly... someone voting for Gregg, also advocating kill all Xenos, something that definitely rings well with the crowd. We will make the election will continue all today. The winner will be declared at the end of the year, at the end of the day, once all the different time zones have been able to open their polls and begin tabulating all the votes. Promises that Gary will kill all Xenos. Timmy, of course, is now showing off his incredible, amazing hair. It is not entirely clear that is not one of his augmentations. Another call shouting out for Nota. Nota Tyranid. More votes for Gregg. Governor Gregg. That is an orc battle cry. Hopefully that is merely enthusiasm, and perhaps my ears are playing tricks on me. We have threats of war if Governor Gregg or the Steel Legion does not win. That's Corumpere 5. If things don't go your way, there's always violence. That's always been the way we've handled things here, and that's been the spirited way that our constituents have continued, and it's been the way that we have presented the news to you. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and once again, if you have not yet voted, this link in the Vox stream will allow you to find your local polling place and vote. That will be going up right now. If you wanted to vote, that is the link to go vote. And let's go ahead and see how the polls stand. We've been Vox casting for nearly 40 minutes now, and we shall see if there's any sort of movement. It's been very interesting with the lesser candidates. Nota Tyranid of the Many Arms Party has gone back up to 23. Ordinate Musalis is holding steady at 6. Governor Gregg, as he has for a while, is at 67%. There have been 271 votes cast. Write-in candidates have dipped a little bit. It might be that the violence that's occurring right now is having an impact on those willing to vote for them. It is not always. Many people are now talking about this idea of peaceful transition of power. That why don't we gain new leaders, elect new leaders, and not respond to whoever wins with violence? And this faction may be causing this downturn among the write-ins, many of whom are here right now, and their various supporters are coming and clashing with one another. But let's go ahead and take a look. Emperor's cousin Gary is holding steady with 2 votes. Commissar Frederick is holding steady with 3. Timmy the Tech Priest has 1, which very well be himself. Snottius, of course, has 5 votes holding steady, and still 1 vote for Steel Legion Kane. Possibly the write-in votes are now getting split. For those who might want a 3rd, 4th, or 5th party candidate who are not interested in Governor Gregg, Ordinate Musalis, or Nota Tyranid of the Many Arms Party, they might be able to find one of these candidates that speaks to them. So I want to ask a question. Oh, it looks like we have another donation, Miles O'Halloran. How are things going out there among the crowd? Yeah, the rioters have a tank now. There you have it, folks. Things have gotten much more exciting out here. Now, some of you may believe that we are encouraging this violent behavior amongst the populace by filming here and giving a platform for a bunch of violent hooligans to shout their political messages as loud as they can, and they might be accusing us of creating a violent scene to sell the news to everyone. And all right, you got us. This is mostly creating a hullabaloo for ratings. But it is still undeniable that to look out among this rampaging horde of people, people bashing each other's face in without any sort of political dialogue to speak of at all, it is still good to know that they care. They don't know what they care about. They're just shouting and grabbing for power and wanting to be the one who's in charge, with absolutely no plan on what exactly they're going to do. No one's debating policy. Everyone's only punching and shooting at each other. And that's democracy, folks. All right, we have Old Man Skeletal coming back in. We appreciate the generous donations of Old Man Skeletal. As usual, a major supporter of CVNN. He very much allows us to continue doing the work that we have. So go ahead, Old Man Skeletal. You, of course, a welcome guest on the show. So, yeah, thank you. So the Skeleton is apparently running a campaign. He's got the whole Hab block in on it. He says he promises to provide extreme hand-holding, prescription medications, and rock and roll. So I'm voting for John Bonesley now. Oh, a big shift. Old Man Skeletal throwing his considerable influence behind John Bonesley. Apparently the skeleton, at least according to the reliable message of Old Man Skeletal, he's now stating that John Bonesley is indeed a human being who is allowed to run and is now being entered as a write-in candidate. Let's see if he's actually made it. See if that has. We'll give it a little while. I'm going to go ahead and. Oh, I know. Stop. Hold on. That canid has stolen my Vox unit. Come back. Give me my Vox unit. Give me my Vox unit. Come back. Come back, I said. No. Give me. Hey. No, mine. There we are. I have now recovered my vocalizer. All right. Now, so we're going to go ahead and send in. Once again, for those of you who have not yet voted, or if you want to get other family members, friends, anyone who is able to vote, if they would like to vote, you can share the link that will be shared in the Vox stream. That'll be coming up right now in one moment. Going to go ahead and share that with you in the Vox stream. One more reminder for it. And we'll go ahead and check and see if there's been any change. I suspect that Old Man Skeletal's endorsement could create a swing and a boost for the write-in candidates. Though so far there hasn't been any major change and no threat to Governor Gregg's firm hold on first place, nor Nota Tyrannid's firm hold on second place. That could be very interesting when Governor Gregg, if he does hold on and win, if he is able to form some sort of government, if he will have to cooperate with Nota Tyrannid's faction to be able to form a cohesive government. But he might have the votes on his own and not have to cooperate. But we're going to take a look and see how things have changed. So previously we had 271 votes. That's democracy for you. Of the 100 billion citizens in Corumpere 5, It appears all of them that have voted have come here and are now fighting each other. But let's go ahead and see if we can get an update. We now have 274 votes. 3 more votes have been cast. Governor Gregg, holding steady, 67%. Ordinate Musalis, down to 5%. Now tied with the write-ins at 5%, and Nota Tyrannid of the Many Arms Party holding steady at 22%. They might have been at 23%, but I think they fell down to 22% the last time we checked. As far as the write-in candidates go, 3 votes for the Emperor's cousin Gary, 4 votes for local Commissar Frederick. Somebody has just added the Gene Stealer Party. I don't know if that's legal. 2 votes for Timmy the Tech Priest, 8 votes for Snartius, 2 votes for Steel Legion, and 2 votes for for Jones, Mr. Bones, Bonesley, for John, Mr. Bones, Bonesley. There we are. So there's been a bit of a shakeup in the write-in candidates, which is producing some. So it has been producing some interesting results. Steel Legion Kane, thank you once again for the donation. Go ahead.
I am drop the Baneblade now.
I don't know what that means, but hopefully it will resolve the fighting that is happening behind me. Now, for those of you who are concerned, for my safety, I am behind a void shield. I do have protection from the Arbites, from the Adeptus Astartes, from from members of the Steel Legion. We are quite secure here, and we're going to try to keep the riots in the designated riot sections. And this seems to be an effective way of removing unpleasant political elements, of simply allowing them to violence each other out of existence. So we'll see how this there has been apparently someone seizing a Baneblade, which, if it is not a member of the Astra Militarum or some sort of sanctioned force, it is a monstrous shame for such an ancient and revered piece of powerful technology to be running rampant and in the hands of those who are enemies of democracy. So this is but if it is, of course, in the hands of the Steel Legion or others, of course, it is necessary for our boys on the front lines to do what needs to be done in order to maintain peace through extreme violence and make sure that this is a free and fair election. Hawkins also offering a donation, very much appreciated. Oh, look at here, Coyote comes with a chili fries stand. Hey, everybody, vote for Greg for governor. He loves everyone, and he loves chili fries. This ad brought to you by the Scrap Hawk Gang. Thank you very much for Hawkins. He's, of course, has been a fine supporter, and of course, we have partnered with Hawkins Chili Fries, the Scrap Hawk Gang Chili Fries, to be able to bring you this Voxcast. So once again, thank you very much. And I also want to extend a word of thanks to those of you who are screaming and shooting at each other and killing each other for in the name of democracy, in the interest of your candidates, even though none of your candidates have any chance of winning. I think if you all had actually stopped fighting one another and went and voted, I'm almost certain there has to be at least some people who are currently fighting that have not yet voted. And perhaps we can diminish some of the violence with, once again, sharing the link to where you can vote, whether it be a write-in candidate or whether it be Ordinate Musalis, Governor Gregg, or Nota Tyrannid of the Many Arms Party, of course. It does seem that at least a few people are realizing that they actually have to vote, that democracy isn't about taking territory and holding different blocks of the city. You actually have to go vote. That's what happens. You don't shoot people. You go into a little booth, and you push a button, or sometimes you fill in a little check mark, or you scribble in an oval, and then a machine reads it. Or it is simply counted by hand. It depends which section of the planet you're on and what technology is available. But I don't know if everyone knows this, who is fighting right now, but you have to go vote. There we go. We're having to take a look. All right, Edward Rylands again of the resplendent House Rylands. Thank you once again for your donation. Also, one of our major supporters here at CVNN. Go ahead. Yes, I'm going to throw a little party between my other noble friends and their friends in the local PDF. If you're very well dressed people walk into different armament stockhouses, don't worry about it, please. Well, it's good to hear that there are celebrations marking this historic day of democracy. Now that, thank you very much, Noble Ryland of House Ryland, Edward Ryland. Miles O'Halloran, of course, coming back in, has been very generous so far, donating multiple times. Go ahead, Miles, go ahead, and what do you have to say? Yeah, someone gave the rioters a dozen rocket launchers. I don't know that rocket launchers are per se necessary for a successful democracy. I think that is a bad move on the part of the riotous mob that has gathered here. Now, some people might say, turn off the camera. Everyone will stop rioting if you simply turn off the camera, and that is simply trying to shut down the free press. Some people might say it's irresponsible, but I say there are risks in democracy, and we are going to take them and make sure that everyone is able to have their voices heard, whether they're screaming it or they're screaming it while shooting people. All right. So why don't we'll take a break from our coverage of the ongoing riots, which very may well come close. Oh, interesting. Finally, there has been a small dent made in Governor Gregg's lead. Governor Gregg, who has been sitting comfortably at 66%, or 67%, has fallen to 66%. So there may be some movement at this point. We now have 274 votes in. Ordnance Musalis has fallen to last place. Well, sort of last place. The write-in candidates have split everything. So Ordnance Musalis is probably still at third place with 5% of the vote. Nota Tiranid is back up at 23%. The write-in candidates hold 6% of the vote. Take a look at how they're doing. Komisov Frederick, the silent write-in candidate, who is sitting at 5 votes. We have John Mr. Bones Bonesley, 5 votes. His old man skeletal support seems to have paid dividends. Snottius is now up to 9 votes. Steel Legion at 2 votes. Gene Stealer, fortunately, the Gene Stealer party fortunately has no votes. Also, Emperor's cousin Gary, holding steady at 3 votes. Very good. All right, we're continuing onward. It does seem that everyone seems to be enjoying themselves. And there has been an individual who has arrived with fried chicken and chanting for peace and happiness for others. And there's also, now, one of the things that has also happened is chili fries are being denied to those who are participating in the rioting. Those who lay down their arms will be able to purchase chili fries and also receive fried chicken. So anyone laying down their arms and participating peacefully in democracy will be given chili fries and fried chicken. We'll see how if that has an effect. We'll see if that call to sanity is being listened to. And this is a tactic that should be taken into very serious consideration. It has been a major part of Alternate Musalas's campaign effort. Has been to promise bread and circuses. Now, some people might be confused and think there must be literal bread and circuses, but simply giving people things they like can have a calming effect on the population and can alleviate a lot of the stress of working in factorums for endless hours on end or dealing with threats that plague the deeper recesses of our planet. It's all different concerns that can sometimes it can be simply the easiest and most cost-effective thing to do to simply give the people what they want. Now, we have been a little quiet on. Oh, there we are. Miles Halloran coming out of the chaos. Miles, he's carrying some pickles with him. Go ahead, Miles. Yeah, I have pickles for all those who stopped rioting. Thank you very much, Miles, for your. It seems that we're getting food. That perhaps there might be some peace over some foodstuffs that are happening. There are those who are offering. There are those who are offering food to stop rioting, and then there are those who are offering weapons in order to keep people rioting. We'll keep an eye on what things are doing, but right now it seems that things might be calming down somewhat. There also seem to be different political factions looking to cut deals. I can see that noble Edward Rylands is speaking with a number of rather rough-looking fellows. But it seems to be that we're at a bit of a calming state, and hopefully that will mean that more people are going to go vote, and fewer people are going to shoot at each other or bash each other's faces in or rip each other from limb to limb. Such is the arc of democracy. It is awfully hasty to declare that something cannot work simply because there's violence. Sometimes it takes pickles and fried chicken as well as chili fries. Now, as this is all calming down, I think this is a good time to go check in on how the election polls are going. With over 100 billion citizens eligible to vote, 277 votes have been cast. Greg continues to fall in the polls. He's now down to 65% of the vote, down from 67. Alternate Musalas has gone up to 6%. Not a Tyrannid, holding steady at 23%. The write-in candidates are also now at 6%. It seems that this enthusiastic brouhaha has convinced some people to vote, and I think with conflict dying down a little bit outside of our Voxcast booth, it seems that some of these hooligans are now actually getting to the polls and putting in their votes for our write-in candidates. We're going to go take a look, see how those are going. Emperor's Cousin Gary holding steady at 3 votes. Commissar Frederick still holding steady at 5. We have a new one. I did not see this one before. There's a write-in vote for Scretch Zilsich Tail of the Fluffgood Party Clan. And he has now burst onto the scene and has 3 votes. Interesting. John Mr. Bones Bonesley, of course, holding steady at 5. Timmy the Tech Priest has 2. Snottius has gone up to 9. Gene Stealer Party now has 1 vote. Steel Legion has 2 votes. And there's a couple of write-ins for Greg. Those will have to be tabulated towards Greg's, of course, final total. But currently, Greg still holds a commanding lead, more than 40 points over his nearest rival. And unless there is a drastic change or more than 0.1% of the population actually votes, it looks like Greg is going to carry the day. But there's still a long day left to go. There's still very much time to see what happens. There are still many people working in factorums. They have yet to leave. There's still a lot of people who still may yet sway this election. And you might say, this is ridiculous. Obviously, Greg is going to win, and you're just making this a rat race in order to stir up controversy. And I say, I don't think you know what it means to tell the news. But I am Dennis Anderson. We're continuing our coverage of the events so far, and we also have another donation from Hawkins. Hey, yeah, we are supplying free chili fries if you continue the rioting at any orcs hiding amongst our Democratic Party. Smack the Xenos, love thy neighbor. So, an effort from Hawkins to try to direct the mindless violence into mindful violence in purging the Xenos. This may be somewhat biased on my part, but I don't feel that this is an unreasonable thing to say, that in addition to Xenos, that any heretics, purging the heretic, Xenos, or witch should also be done to ensure the safety and freedom of this election day. Looks like having anything else going on. There's some friction to the disruption to Noble Edward Ryland's party. Though it is not clear what has happened. Many things appear to have happened since we last checked in on how the polls are going. And we have been voxcasting for over an hour, and there has been so much disruption. There still seem to be efforts to stop people from rioting with the offer of fried chicken and chili fries. Not certain if the pickles are still available. But this has certainly been a many last-minute changes in votes, last-minute changes in political affiliation, a lot of dramatic efforts to shift the balance of power for those who are maybe looking to get some of the lower positions, last-second efforts to grab the public's attention. Now, while we have had many people giving us updates on the escalating violence, those who have offered chili fries, there have been those who have expressed their concerns. There haven't been that many recently of concerned citizens sharing their ideas, the things that they consider to be most important. So if there are citizens who would like to speak on that, we do ask that you give a small donation to help keep us on the air and help keep free press on Corumpere free at a reasonable price. So if you would like to share your concerns, you can certainly donate, and we will take you on the air and allow you to speak your mind. We'll take a look, see what else is going on. Oh, my goodness. There is, it appears one of the Astartes, a psyker, is wading into the fight and it looks mighty unstoppable. I'm going to turn away from that. That looks like an awful lot of pain being dealt to quite a few Xenos and heretics. Oh, looks like we have a group of squats and ogrins giving people food of grox meat and servitor toys in order to have a peaceful voting system. These are the creative solutions that we can see from the populace themselves, refusing to succumb to violence and encouraging those who are violent to set aside their violent ways in order to have a fair and free election. We shall see how this all plays out. We're coming up on the hour and 5 minute mark, and we're going to let the things continue to play out. If we get anyone who wishes to express their concerns as concerned citizens, we will of course address that. But it is time to go and have a look and see how the polls have moved since the last time. Now, some of you may think that I am simply checking back every few moments when only 1, 2, 3 votes have been cast since the last time. But it's exciting. It's exciting to see how things change, isn't it? Isn't your blood pumping? Don't you want to see the numbers go up and down? I know I do. Miles O'Halloran, before we go and check in on how the polls are going, let's see what you have to say. Yeah, how well will our new PDF force be equipped? Well, that is a question that would be best addressed to Ordinate Musalis and Governor Gregg, and of course, surprise third-party candidate Nota Tyranid of the Many Arms Party. Perhaps we can hear from some of those write-in candidates who are speaking right now. The major candidates are not available for comment, but perhaps some of the minor ones will be able to express themselves. If the riot stops, perhaps they can make their pitch to their supporters. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and put up the link to where one can vote. You can go there and you'll be able to be informed of your polling location, and you can cast your vote for your candidate that you prefer. We're going to go and see how things have been advancing. On Election Day and Corumpere 5, the battle between Governor Gregg, Ordinate Musalis, the surprise appearance of Nota Tyranid, as well as a flurry of last-minute write-in candidates. We'll see how the struggle is proceeding. It does seem like we've gotten a few more votes. Governor Gregg has gone back up with 66%. Ordinate Musalis now has sole hold over third place with 6%. Not a Tyrannid holding steady at 23%. The write-ins have dipped a little bit lower with 5% of the vote. We can go take a look into the details. Scretch Zil... I'm going to have to figure out how to say his name. Scretch Zilzichtail of the Fluff Good Party Clan now has 4 votes. We have a write-in vote for the Vote Rigging Party that has 1 vote. Voting for the Gene Stealer Party also only has 1 vote. Local Commissar Frederick has 5 votes. John Mr. Bones Bonesley has 5 votes. Snottius has 9 votes. And then there are a vote for the Steel Legion is holding steady at 2 votes. If you wanted to go see all the write-ins, you'll have to see all of the comments that are written below the election tab, and then you'd have to manually vote for each one of those. So let's go take a look, see if things are calming down here. No one can have my hat. It's actually built into my head. Unfortunately, I cannot remove it. I would need to see a tech priest in order to have the rituals of hat removal enacted. All right, looks like we are not. Now it seems to be going back to a discussion. There seems to be some support for Lord Edward Rylance, who is making it clear that he does not want to be candidate, that his vote is for Ordinate Musalis. Another vote, a lot of people now chanting for Greg. Now that the violence has subsided, we have now kind of the Greg chants returning. So interesting return to the main candidates seem to be having a major push back against the flurry of calls for the lesser candidates, the write-in candidates. A couple of calls for voting for Nota T. Ranid, but at the moment things seem to be settling down a little bit. Hawkins is now toying with the idea of being a candidate themselves. Hawkins, you can always write yourself in as a candidate and start trying to gather votes for you. That's the nature of this democracy. Will your vote be split between 300 other very, very, very small write-in candidates? Certainly. Do you have any chance of realistically winning? Probably not. But, I don't know. Go ahead and give it a try. Going to take a sip of drink right now. Have to lubricate the Vox modulation unit. I'm not certain if that's a cheer for Timmy, trying to get. There might just be an effort to steal his hat. Timmy is cheering for himself. I should hope he would. There are now calls for voting for the Green Party. That's probably a new write-in candidate. We'll see how that goes. We have mention of Cyrus Amani. Steel Legion or heroes just like Cyrus Amani. Have Cyrus been side by side with the Steel Legion in battle? Honestly, I cannot speak to that. I do know that Cyrus has a popular Voxcast show, who will likely be Voxcasting again sometime soon. He's been a little quiet, but there have been some disturbances. But that's an interesting figure to arrive in, to come up in Corumpere 5's political discourse. That extraplanetary issues are also at play. So that's another issue to discuss. But it does seem that that things are settling down. I've got some support for Nota T. Ranid. And I have heard about this. The Day of Ascension plan does sound. It seems the supporters of Nota T. Ranid have been in support of his Day of Ascension initiative, which does require has been called for a great deal of public funding and has been criticized for being a complete boondoggle. But there are those who see the merits in this effort, and of course those who vote for Greg, shouting louder for Greg. Timmy, of continuing to soapbox, hasn't got too much traction so far. Has made a lot of accusations against other candidates, but and I think this is one that they're repeating, but they're stating that Nota T. Ranid is in fact a gene stealer. So we will see if that is able to carry weight. There has been some difficulty with tech priests often find it hard to effectively communicate with those that have more organic components than they do, sometimes being more familiar with machine spirits than with the citizenry. Now, with all of these different people throwing their hats in the ring, I was going to try to hold things off for a little bit, but I think it might be time for us to check on the polls once again. I think there might be some interesting developments amongst those who have different write-in campaigns that are trying to pick up some steam. We will find out. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and put in the Vox stream. Those of you who have not been able to vote, this will take you to your local polling place. So you'll be able to cast your vote for the candidate of your choice. Either you could vote, of course, for Governor Greg, Ordinate Musalis, or Nota Tyranid, surprise candidate from the Many Arms Party, who has done surprisingly well, considering I had not covered Nota Tyranid prior to this campaign. Prior to today, really, we didn't really see this almost an uprising of votes coming for Nota Tyranid. But we'll take a look. Somewhat of an increase. We're now up to 280 votes in this thriving democracy of 100 million citizens. 280 people look like they're going to be the ones shaping our destiny moving forward. And let's take a look and see how we'll see how everyone's doing. Governor Greg slipping once again, down to 65%, down from 66. Nota Tyranid gaining ground up to 24%. Ordinate Musalis holding steady at 6%. The write-in candidates now are down to 5% of the vote. We can go take a look specifically at which ones have which votes. Scratch Zich Tail of the Fluffgood Party Clan is now holding steady at 4 votes. The vote rigging party has 2 votes. Commissar Frederick, 5. Gene Stealer Party, 5. John Mr. Bones Bonesley, 5. Snartius, 9. Steel Legion holding steady at 2. So not a whole lot of changes with the write-ins. There seems to be a little bit more of a push from Nota Tyranid, who has not reached over the 23% mark until now. So that might be a shift as more of the Underhive precincts begin reporting in. As that seems to be a veritable nest of support for Nota Tyranid. But we shall figure that out. No one has yet, despite Hawkins' statement that he wishes to be a write-in candidate, he has not yet written himself in. All right, Lord Rylands approaching once again. Of course, always happy to hear from you. Go ahead.
Yes, I would like to announce that the nobles have just raised a lovely "We Love the Emperor" stipend for the local command of the Arbites, just so long as they side with the right candidate when the time comes.
Thank you, Lord Rylands. Very much appreciate your input. Lord Rylands often has his fingers on the pulse of how the different noble families and their constituents, how they're going to vote and how they're going to swing. They can be quite influential, being able to fund, take lesser-known candidates, and really their support can put them on the spot. Ordinate Musalis really had been a relative unknown until Lord Ryland's support. If you want to write yourself in, you would go to the link that I provided you with and then write your name in below. And then people can specifically vote for you by liking your name. I'll put that in the Vox stream once more. Go to that link and you can put yourself in there. Very well. Now there have been we're getting a bit more. There now seem to be we're reviewing some of the old talking points suggesting some kind of relationship between Ordinate Musalis and former Governor Sumalis, which there's no evidence that there's any sort of connection. Nobles who had known former Governor Sumalis repeatedly and vehemently deny any connection, and have only recently found their support of Ordinate Musalis because of they find his policies to be in the best interest of the nobility and the population as a whole. And they have not reported any sort of connection or any of that sort of thing. And of course, we're to believe our nobles, aren't we not? Are they not noble? There's also been talk of the Green Party, but there has been no write-in candidate for the Green Party as of yet. So we shall see how this all happens. All right, Hawkins claims to have entered his own name into the write-in candidacy. We shall see. He's been a long-time supporter of CVNN, and perhaps his clout, his familiarity, his name recognition might be able to carry some influence, and we'll see if he's able to parlay that into a political position of some significance. And that's kind of what I think that is what we hope to see when following all of these write-in candidacies. They're unlikely to be the ones who win, but it is possible that if they have enough support, they can end up representing sizable constituencies and special interests who might be able to petition those who do win. All right, we have Old Man Skeletal coming in. Thank you for your support. Go ahead. Yes, I'd just like to say, vote Mr. Bones, defender of the Underhive. We deny all accusation of him being a Xenos honorificos. He's just a spooky metal skeleton, probably Dark Age tech. Don't worry about it. There's no need for any kind of investigation. Vote Mr. Bones. Thank you, Old Man Skeletal, for your endorsement. We've had a couple of high-profile endorsements. Both Hawkins, I believe he stated that he was in support of Governor Gregg. Old Man Skeletal is voting Mr. Bones, of course. We have, of course, Lord Rylands, who throws his support behind Ordinate Musalis. And we'll see if these celebrity endorsements really sway the people, because frequently, while it can be helpful, sometimes these celebrity endorsements can cause the populace to become agitated or feel that these celebrities are telling them what to do. So it can backfire, but I think the messaging, we'll see if it has been resonating, and we'll check on the polls in a little bit. We'll probably give it another few minutes. It looks like we have a little bit. There's some report of a threat against the Voxcast booth, but not to worry. I am going to stay here through thick and thin and not be intimidated by those who would try to disrupt this beautiful democratic system. We also have looks like there might be a split amongst the tech priest. While Timmy the tech priest is a write-in candidate, his fellow tech priest Bob has thrown his support behind Governor Gregg. So this might indicate a split in the mechanicus of where they might choose to vote. But it is too early to tell. We will check in a few minutes and see where the polls stand. We're going to give the people a bit more of a chance to vote. And I'm going to go ahead and post the link to the where you can reach the polling center, so that way you're able to cast your vote. I feel though I've posted that more often than we have actual votes. We are a populated planet of nearly 100 billion people, and we still are only have less than 300 votes cast. Some people may say that this is disappointing, but it is one of the highest vote tallies of any imperial planetary system for at least a millennium. Right, we have Mad Beast Yeti coming in. Go ahead, you are live on the air. Speak your mind. Come, ye people from the underhives, trust in the many-armed party, for we are of the flesh. Don't be tempted by the horrific metal words of the tech priests. So an endorsement of Nota Tyranid coming from a mysterious preacher from the Underhive, endorsing the point of view that the Emperor should be depicted with many arms, likely a supporter of the so-called Day of Ascension initiative. We'll see if this statement has a bit of a sway in the polls. We've had a lot of support here so far, and it's likely that CVNN, the Corumpere 5 News Network, is going to be able to continue to provide you with this up-to-date, top-level reporting. We're going to go ahead now. I think it's been enough time. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the polls. Last time we checked, we were sitting at 280 votes. Let us take a look and see how much farther along we are. Two more people have voted. All right. Governor Gregg, though, however, continues to slip in the polls. He's now down to 64%. Ordinate Musalis holding steady at 6%. Nota Tyranid of the Many Arms Party gaining ground, now at 40 points behind Gregg at 24%. The write-ins now hold 6%. We'll go take a look and see how the write-ins are doing. We have Timmy the Tech Priest holding steady with 4 votes. Scretch Zilchich Tail of the Fluff Good Party Clan with 4 votes. Hive Gang Scrapper Party Hawkins, this is his first entry as a write-in candidate, now has 4 votes. The vote for the vote rigging party is holding 3. Commissar Frederick still holding steady at 5. We have a write-in vote for the God Emperor of Mankind. Interesting choice. The Steel Legion Kane has 1. It looks like the Steel Legion Kane is splitting the votes because, well, he's got 1 write-in that has 1, and then he has another one that is 3. No votes for the Gene Stealer Party. The Green Party has 3 votes. John, Mr. Bones Bonesley, holding steady with 5. Snottius has 9. A couple vote write-in votes for Gregg. Those are totaling 4 votes. And now there are people who are also using the write-in slot in order to promote their own candidates. I see ones for Gregg. I see not a Tyranid. But we'll see how that shakes out. Always interesting to see what the write-ins are going to produce. Looks like we might have some people getting a little bit more upset. Hopefully this will not reignite the rioting. It seemed that people had been given enough fried chicken and pickles and chili fries to calm down. But we have Steel Legion Kane from the illustrious 88th Steel Legion would like to speak with us. Go ahead, Steel Legion Kane.
All join the Steel Legion. You will be giving a free tank.
I think he's saying that, it might be true that he might be able to provide a new tank to anyone who votes Steel Legion, as not that many people have voted. We're still not quite at the 300 vote mark out of the 100 billion people that live here on Corumpere 5, which is surprising given the enthusiasm and violence that we've seen just outside of the Voxcasting booth. It might be that everyone who has voted went and voted and then came here and rioted. It is quite possible. It is quite possible. But I think this is good that we have such enthusiasm amongst those who have decided that they're going to vote. There seems to be some conflict between Lord Edwards and his political opponents, Lord Edward Rylance. We shall see. Oh my! All right. For those of you who might be getting a little bit of Vox interference, there seems to be a that looks to be a problem. That thing that has suddenly emerged that is screaming for blood probably should. I would ask that all responsible citizens of Corumpere 5 please stop that thing. Please kindly stop that thing. It does seem to be very dangerous indeed. This goes beyond when enormous evil creatures rip out of hideous portals. I think it is time for us to set aside our political differences and unite behind annihilating the Neverborn wherever they are seen fit with the purging light of the Emperor. So I'm going to actually address the audience themselves. Let us unite, all of us, and rid ourselves of this threat to democracy, this creature which would disrupt our free elections, clearly because he hates freedom and democracy, and not because he is a warmongering, bloodthirsty maniac summoned from the depths of a realm beyond our comprehension, and assume that the reason he is attacking us is to stop our freedom to choose our leaders. I will see if I can approach the violent individual and see if I can get a comment. I'm going to hand this Vox unit. If somebody would like to take this Vox unit and get close enough to that creature for comment, I would appreciate it. Still chance for Greg. I don't think that's coming from the invading creature. It looks like Lord Rylance is being evacuated. It's a terrible, terrible scene, but it looks like people are coming together. To destroy the abomination that has emerged to stand against freedom and democracy, disrupting our. It is interesting to see which supporters are going to contribute the most to the defeat of this enemy of the Imperium. Steel Legion Kane is reporting that it's saying it hates voting. So it is confirmed that this creature is an anti-democracy, never-born creature of the warp who must be put down. And we have reports from Lord Rylance that it's saying Greg for governor, which would be a shocking turn of events if this is held up to be true. So we're now having conflicting reports of which candidate this creature supports. Though I don't believe I gave Lord Edwards my Vox unit. I'm not sure where he was able to get this report. It's possible that he has another source. We'll see if we can confirm or deny that particular claim. Now we're continuing to get conflicting reports. I'm getting a lot of interference from the Voxcaster. Getting reports that the Neverborn despises pickles and wants to destroy them all. And I agree with this particular citizen who's exclaiming this. We cannot let this to be made a reality. This is a terrifying day for democracy and for pickles. But we here on Corumpere 5 will not succumb. We will not bend our will to this threatening creature. And yes, we have word from our Adeptus Astartes captain. We do have orbital bombardment coming in. Please move away from the enormous creature. Hopefully it will be vaporized by an unnecessarily large shell. And it would be a shame if voters will be to be caught in the blast. All right, we're moving. If anyone wishes to, they can move. If they want to be peaceful, please move into the Vox casting booth. We do have protection here with our void shields. Yes, Miles O'Halloran, consistent contributor to CVNN. Go ahead. Yeah, the demon says that Musalis is Sumalis in disguise. It would make sense for a Neverborn to continue to spread those kind of lies and discord amongst the people. So I do thank you for your honest and upstanding information, Miles. I think that's going to be the best and most reliable take that we have from this Neverborn creature. We also have Old Man Skeletal coming up. More words from the Mr. Bones write-in candidacy. Yes, Mr. Bones has descended on his jet bike and is attacking it with green las cannons. Green las cannons. Unusual. Unusual to hear. Lord Ryland's coming into the booth as well, seeking safety within the void shields. It did not say that. It merely made a grunt that sounded familiar. That is just a coincidence. I simply misheard Rob. Thank you for your reporting, Lord Rylands. Always your sources contributing to a little bit more clarity, getting a new point of view, seeing how things are going. Well, I think things are going to be, we're going to allow the bombardment to go ahead. Hopefully that will take care of this menace. Let's go take a look at the polls. For those of you who have not yet voted, I am sharing the link to polling stations in the Vox feed. You can go there and pass your vote if you would like. You can write in a candidate down below. You can vote for a candidate by a write-in candidate by selecting a like. You can also vote, of course, for the named candidates, Governor Gregg, Ordinate Musalis, and, of course, Nota Tyrannid, the surprise candidate who's been making a lot of headway. Miles O'Halloran coming back in. Go ahead. Wait, is Mr. Bones a Necron? A bold accusation and a claim that will likely need to be investigated as we are moving forward on today's coverage. We'll report on that as soon as we have more information. Thank you for your burning question, Miles O'Halloran. So we'll take a look. Last check, we had 282 votes. Let's see how things are proceeding. We have 2 entire more votes. Looks like everything is holding steady. Governor Gregg is at 64%. Ordinate Musalis is at 6%. Not a Tyrannid of the Many Arms Party is at 24%. Write-in is now at 6%. And we'll go ahead and take a look at the write-ins specifically as they try to jockey amongst themselves for minor positions of power, like or perhaps a cabinet position in the future governor's service. So now we have, let's take a look. We have voting for Timmy the Tech Priest is at 4 votes. Scratch Zilzich Tail of the Fluffgood Party Clan is at 4 votes. Hive Gang Scrapper Party Hawkins is at 4 votes. We have a right vote for Candid for Vice Governor. A good boy, you can vote Canid for Vice Governor. I misread that. Canid. They want the Canid that stole my Vox unit. I think that's what's being written about now. That vote has there's no votes for that. The Vote Rigging Party has 3 votes. Doug Green Party has 3 votes. We have an endorsement from Master Captain Sharonel Jalgnis. The Midnight Claws officially endorse Steel Legion Kane. A surprise endorsement. Steel Legion Kane has a couple of write-in. We still only have 3 votes for Steel Legion Kane, a 4th if you include a separate write-in. Commissar Frederick has 5. John Mr. Bones Bonesley has 5. Snotties has 9. We also have a vote for Khorne from the demon. That is likely going to be thrown out. Demons are not eligible to hold office in Corumpere 5. However, it will be of interest to see which individuals vote for this demon and are subsequently seized by the Arbites. All right, we have William Bowes. Go ahead and share your view. The PDF branch of the Corumpere 5 Gene Steel Appreciation Society says to stay clear of the big mean demon and to please vote for Nata Tir Ranid. Much appreciated from William Bowes. Thank you for your service as part of the PDF. Moving on, we have Mad Beast Yeti. Coming again, once again, preaching the good word, I suppose. Go ahead. My brothers and sisters of the Underhive, this monster is birthed of the evils of Greg and Musalas. Rally around the many arms party, so something like this may never happen again. But it appears that the demon has been defeated, allowing democracy to remain and thrive, and we shall be able to move forward. Now, we will, of course, voting will continue as the day goes forward, but we are reaching an end of our coverage. We shall be wrapping up within the next 20 minutes, and we will, of course, report on the final results. And it has been a thrilling time to hear from all the different factions and supporters, people supporting Governor Gregg, people supporting Ordinate Musalas, Nata Tyranid's impressive run, and also we have seen a rise of quite a few last-second write-in candidates who have done surprisingly well, considering that there has been absolutely no campaigning prior to this. But we shall see what the final result, of course, is. Have a look and see what everyone is discussing. I think more cheers for Greg denying the truth of the Mad Beast Yeti. People seem to be celebrating the death of the demon. The return, at least its return to the non-being that it came from. We have a claim that the Canid banished the demon vote. There's a discussion over who was the one who banished the demon, and there is a vote for Canid as vice governor. There's now word saying that Lord Reynolds, Lord Edward, also dueled the demon and gave it a sick insult. We'll see if that shakes out. It was a very confusing melee, but those who slew the demon were unlikely going to have large boosts to their candidacy, regardless of the ability to slay demons. Might not be the most effective way of measuring one's ability to govern. It is still really, really, really cool. Lord Reynolds seems to be getting into it a little bit with Timmy the Tech Priest. We'll see if Timmy is able to set himself up as a larger rival to Ordinate Musalas than initially than his initial write-in campaign has gone so far, but we shall see. Now, Timmy is claiming that he slew it. There seems to be a great debate over who actually slew the demon, and we will see. Hopefully, this does not blow up into another riot, because we've had a riot, we've had that calm down, we've had assassination attempts, we had the summoning of a very dangerous creature of the Neverborn. We're now having an argument over who was the one responsible for slaying the demon, and hopefully this does not erupt into another riot. But we shall see how that particularly plays out. I will, of course, do my due diligence to encourage those of you who have not yet voted to go vote. The voting link will, of course, be placed in the Vox stream, the Vox feed, for anyone who has not yet been able to vote. But you should do your civic duty and contribute and help decide who is going to be Corumpere 5's next governor, if it is going to be Governor Greg, or if it is going to be Ordinate Musalis, or if it is going to be not a Tyrannid, or perhaps there can be a surprise sudden increase of many, many, many different kinds of votes for write-in candidates. But we shall find out. Another claim that it has happened by the hand of the Steel Legion. It is not entirely clear. But we shall see. We shall see indeed. We shall check. We'll do it before we are completely finished. We're going to do, we've been going for about nearly 2 hours. We're not quite at the 2 hour mark. We're less than 15 minutes away from the 2 hour mark, and that is when the Voxcast will end. We still have time for people, of course, to send in their opinions, their concerns. If they wish to donate, we will take their message live on the air. I'm trying to keep my fingers, of course, on the pulse of the public in general, but if someone has specific messages to say, a small donation will allow you to be able to speak your mind on the air and help keep the free press on Corumpere free for a reasonable price. But we're going to go take a look and see if there's any changes to the vote totals as of now. Nothing has changed too much. We now have 286 votes. Governor Greg has regained some of his ground, going up to 65%. Nota Tyrannid is down to 23%. Ordinate Musalis holding steady at 6%. Write-ins holding steady at 6%. There might be more write-in candidates coming in. We have... Oh, I think I might have overlooked this one. There is a write-in for the orc that keeps showing up to ask questions, and that has gotten 5 votes. Orcs, of course, are Xenos, and they're not eligible to be elected. Timmy the Tech Priest has 4 votes. Scratch Zilchich Tail of the Fluffgood Party Clan also holding steady at 4 votes. The Emperor of Mankind only has 1 vote, but I would hope everyone would understand that the Emperor is already so much more than a planetary governor. I believe that voting for him would diminish his grand and glorious light. I understand the well-meaningness of this particular citizen, but I would not encourage everyone to suddenly feel that they need to change their vote to the Emperor of Mankind. The Hive Gang Scrapper Party of Hawkins now has 4 votes. Kanan for Vice Governor, a good boy we can trust, has 4 votes. 2 votes for Korn from the Demon. Those are being thrown out. The Vote Rigging Party has 3 votes. The Green Party, 3 votes. Commissar Frederick has 5 votes. Steel Legion combined has 4 votes. John Mr. Bones Bonesley has 5 votes. Snottius has 9 votes. So not too much has changed as far as the write-in candidates have gone. So there's been a lot of sound and fury here, but not that much change. we have a donation from Miles O'Halloran coming in. Go ahead, Miles. Always happy to have you on the show. Yeah, there's a recording that shows the demon when the demon died when it slipped and fell right on its own weapon. So it might not be able for any one of the different parties to claim the death of the Bloodthirster for themselves if it was, as Miles is reporting, is of course always trying to get the best and most accurate information. If that is indeed the case, then all of these claims of responsibility for defeating this demon would sort of be spread amongst everyone, because everyone did sort of unite and take up arms against this demon. I don't think there was a single party who shirked their imperial duty to annihilate the threat, but I don't think anyone can claim that they were the ones who were responsible for defeating it. Let's see, what else we have? We have calls for the Canid as for vice governor. We have more. We have one of the consistent things that I've seen so far throughout the day is consistent support for Governor Gregg. A scattered vote. Gregg, Timmy, of course, pitching himself for governor. We have more voting for Gregg. There is a claim that Lord Edward tripped the demon, trying to bolster support for Musalis and his supporters. More cries for the Green Party. We will see how that pans out. But regardless of what the outcome of this election is, I think that everyone in Corumpere 5 should look at the relentless violence that has taken place on this day, the bloodshed, the blood, sweat, and tears that have been shed here in this place right before that I have had the privilege of viewing from our Vox casting booth. I think everyone can say that this has been a rather harrowing experience and a proud day of democracy for Corumpere 5. All right, we do have Lord Edward Rylands coming forth. Lord Edward, always a pleasure. Go ahead and speak your piece.
Yes, we have seriously a problem. Someone, it doesn't matter who, was providing weapons and vehicles to the PDF for innocent reasons, but now it is being filtered down to gene stealer cults. That is most certainly of great concern. We certainly do not want that hardware to fall into the hands of Xenos or Xenos sympathizers, and I thank Lord Edward Rylands for bringing this to our attention, and also for his continued support and sponsorship of CVNN, the Corumpere 5 News Network. So now there seems to be a cry. This is a major point of contention, that there are concerns about the Gene Stealer cult. There even being a Gene Stealer party that has tried to crop up, and while it has gotten nowhere near the votes that anyone, whether it be Governor Gregg or Ordinate Sumalis, or even not a Tyrannid, fortunately there doesn't seem to be so many Gene Stealers that they can act openly, or that they're garnering much support. So I think that calls right now for a purge of the Xenos would be appropriate, and this has been something that both Ordinate Musalis and Governor Gregg have been very staunchly against, made statements very clearly against gene stealers, and they have come down with a hard stance against them. Not a Tyrannid has been focusing more on workers' rights, on family, on the Day of Ascension initiative that they have been trying to push. Has not yet come out against the Gene Stealer cults, and has not yet proposed a solution to that issue, which any supporter of
not a Tyrannid, if they would like to make the party's platform clear on that. And of course, we have Mad Beast Yeti coming forth. Go ahead and representative of not a Tyrannid, go ahead and say your piece. My blessed and true people of the Underhive, I say my final true appeal to ye. Ignore the corrupted lords, and trust in the flesh of the many-armed party, for we are uncorrupted by any outside force. Thank you, Mad Beast Yeti. I don't know that clears things up regarding the threat of gene stealer cults as much as you might have hoped, but that might have to be what the information we have from the Many-Armed Party and their approach to the gene stealer cults, which is a bit surprising given their propensity to have a lot of support from the Underhive. And of course, that threat affects the Underhivers probably more than most. But that's, I suppose, that's enough commentary from me. And of course, we will see how things proceed. The supporters of Governor, supporters of Governor Greg, of course, are settling in. They haven't had much to say. His supporters, of course, have been chanting for him, but Governor Greg has not had a representative here speaking for him, and that might just be as well. It might be a strategy of not wanting to create a soundbite at the last second, not wanting to jeopardize his substantial lead, which might make sense. But we do have representatives from Ordinate Musalis in and of course Lord Edward Rylands, and we also have Mad Beast Yeti representing the interest in speaking for Nota Tyrannid of the Many Arms Party. So it's been good to hear their perspective on things and be able to get their reactions to things as it goes along. Of course, Governor Greg has long made his party platform clear, so there might not be as much of a necessary need for him to state what he stands for. He's been fairly clear of his support of Pickles. He's been pretty clear on his desire to do a good job, and we will see how things shake out. All right, so we're going to go ahead and check for final results on the ongoing polls. We have had quite a shift so far, a little bit of up and down, shifting of percentage points, but nothing major. So this will be the final check before we end the Voxcast, and then when we are finished with the election, of course, I will let everyone know what the final results are. Hopefully everyone has been satisfied with the proceedings so far and has been able to participate in this wondrous democratic institution for the first time in a long time. Let's take a look. Final vote tallies for this Voxcast with 287 votes cast. We have Governor Greg sitting at 65% of the vote, Alternate Musalis with 6% of the vote, Nota Tyrannid with 23% of the vote, write-in candidates still holding steady with 6%. A couple of well-wishing votes for Greg. We'll take a look and see. We have that Orcs who keeps showing up to ask questions has 5 votes. Timmy the Tech Priest has 4 votes. The Emperor of Mankind has 3 votes. Scratch Zilzich Tail of the Fluff Good Party Clan has 4 votes. The Hive Grang Scrapper Party Hawkins now has 5 votes. Canid for Vice Governor has 5 votes. Korn from the Demon has 3 votes. Those will be thrown out. The vote for the vote rigging party is 4 votes. The Green Party has 3. Commissar Frederick has 5. John Mr. Bones Bonesley has 5. Steel Legion Kane, combining them, has 4. The Gene Stealer Party has 1. Vote Steel Legion, yes, has still continued to be 4 for the Steel Legion. Actually, looks like there's going to be... I miscalculated. There are now several different write-ins for Steel Legion Kane, who currently has, it appears to be 7 votes. Snottius leading the write-ins with 9 votes. I have no idea who Snottius is. So I do believe, unless there are any final words that anyone wishes to say, we are going to be wrapping up this Voxcast. I appreciate you all for joining us for this Corumpere 5 election cycle. I am Dennis Anderson. Very happy to be here with all of you today. I thank everyone who has dedicated their time and energy to protecting the Voxcast booth. I thank everyone who participated in putting down the dangerous bloodthirster that erupted from the mysterious portal. Thank you all very much. And I wish you all the very best, and hopefully we will continue this mostly peaceful, rioting light election. I am Dennis Anderson, and I will be signing off. Thank you very much.